This is an unpaid, completely honest, and glowing review for a product I recently discovered called ArtResin. What you're looking at here are the empty bottles because I used all of it, and then my fabulously brand new beer cap coffee table. So here's the story. About 13 years ago, I was at a Jelly Belly factory, and they had some really cool, famous works of art made out of jelly beans. And I thought, I'd like to do something like that with bottle caps someday. And so for the past decade, I've saved over 3,000 bottle caps. And this summer, I thought it was high time to get going on my project. And so I contacted the sculpture professor at the university where I work. I'm an art historian, and told her what I wanted to do. And she recommended ArtResin. It's really fabulous because it doesn't have any fumes, which means I could do it upstairs in my office at home. And so I laid out all my bottle caps, and then with the help of my father-in-law, who's far more skilled at these things than I am, we mixed up our ArtResin, which is a very simple thing to do. 1 part resin to 1 part hardener. Stir it up for 3 minutes, and you then have about 45 minutes, or in my case, more than an hour, to work with your product. This coffee table, as you can see, has a bit of a lip here along the long side, but not on the short side. So I made a little bit of a dam with some foam core and some painter's tape. And then we began to very gently ladle on the ArtResin mixture, which worked well for about 30 seconds. And then the air under the bottle caps began to lift them up and move them around because my table wasn't perfectly level. And so for about an hour and 20, my father-in-law and I very nervously tried to rearrange the caps in the way in which I had them in order for it to set. It took us so much time actually that what the ArtResin that I had left gelled up, hardened in the bucket with the ladle, which is now in my office. It's like a Marcel Duchamp painting. And as a result, some of these are not completely covered by the resin themselves. You can see there's a little bit of a lip on some of them. So I need a little bit more to get it all finished. But the product itself is absolutely marvelous. It looks beautiful. And if I would have done it over again, I would have glued the caps down so they wouldn't have moved. But the resin itself is solid to the touch in about 8 hours. And it looks absolutely fabulous. When my 2-year-old came in here this morning to look at it, he was trying to grab them because you can't see the resin. Clearly there's a little bit of shine on it. But beyond that, it is absolutely perfect. I was absolutely delighted. Certainly, the 2 gallons that I had were $189, and I need a little bit more to really finish this to get it to look the way I want to. But I'm not an arty guy, even though I'm an art history professor, and this is absolutely marvelous to work with. It's very easy, and it looks far better than I thought it would. Given the ways in which things began to float away on me. And so it's an absolutely fabulous product, and it gives you really, really, really strong results without a lot of artistic know-how. If you're going to do a project like this, I highly recommend gluing the caps down so they don't float away like a flooded river when you pour on your resin. But all in all, I've been absolutely delighted with this. I think it's a really interesting piece, and it will find a place of honor in my office at the university. So I want to say thanks to the fine makers of ArtResin. It's a great product. I really appreciate how great it looks, and I hope to find more use for bottle caps and ArtResin in the future.